What's up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here. We are back in the world of Minecraft, and I wanted to kind of talk to you guys today about something that's probably going to make some of you happy and some of you probably not so happy. And what we're going to be talking about today is the Minecraft server and some of the changes that we have made starting basically today. Now, this is actually the Minecraft server, and you're going to notice that there is a distinct lack of people at the moment, and that is because we have whitelisted it while we redo things. We were going to add Towny to the server in addition to, what do you call it? There we go. In addition to factions, but one of the problems we were having with factions is, unlike Towny and some of the other mods that are out there, factions allows you to actually kick somebody off the server in essence. Let's say I've got a faction, you've got a faction, and we get a big old fight, and somebody loses and somebody wins. Well, the losers lose damn near everything. And while having a challenge is fun, and having loss, you know, I'm definitely a hardcore PvP person, having loss definitely makes your victories mean a lot, etc., etc. But, you know, when you actually lose everything that you've got, that can kind of actually be a disincentive to play, because then it comes along to the point where people who die don't want to play the game anymore. And we don't want to have that. You know, I don't mind people losing things, and I'm perfectly fine with, you know, there being some loss. But, you know, you get to a point where it's like, well, I don't want people leaving the server because of a defeat. You know, I'd rather some, you know, people be able to learn from some event and be able to move on or something along those lines. Or maybe, you know, just have a big old battle where, you know, shit happens and stuff goes down, but it's not the end of the game for some people. Well, factions doesn't really allow that. The other issue that we were having is default factions makes it very, very hard for smart people to be rated. And by smart people, I mean, if I set my base up correctly, you aren't getting into my base. It's not going to happen. You're fucked. You can try and raid me all you like, but it's not going to happen, and I'm going to be able to keep my base completely safe from you and your group. So we decided to add cannons to try and counter that. Well, the problem that we ran into was offline base raiding then became the norm. Is this obsidian or bedrock? Yeah, it's obsidian. Sorry, texture pack's a little wonky. Anyways, so then at that point, offline raiding became the norm. So we had cannons on the server, and then people were just blasting each other's stuff, and we didn't really want that either. You know, the whole point of the faction server is people to fight, and if people aren't fighting, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the damn thing. You know, and offline base rape isn't exactly exciting by anybody's standards, I don't think. You know, maybe there's a few of you that are like, yeah, offline base rape rocks. Well, no. Offline base rape sucks. So we decided to add Lockette to try and counter that. Well, the problem with Lockette is then nobody can raid anything. And, you know, whether or not you're losing your base or not is kind of irrelevant. So, let's see, does this drop off at spawn? Boom, spawn, almost perfect. Let's see, my one block over to the left. That's about right. Oh well, and boom, perfect. Anyways, so we started talking about Towny, and the nice thing about Towny is the fact that you know, you can still have PvP, you can still fight, but the fighting is more about you know, killing other people as opposed to losing your entire, you know, everything that you've earned. So, after some talking around, and not only that, but if you look at the Towny plugin is so much more powerful. There's so much you can do with it, and it's just absolutely amazing. Whereas with factions, and I'm not going to slam on factions because I'm definitely a noob when it comes to coding at the moment. Hopefully that will change, but you know, factions is a very solid mod. But when you compare it to Towny, it is not in the same. It's not in the same category. By that I mean, Towny is just—it's kind of like comparing DOS to Windows 7. You know, both of them are very good operating systems, but Windows 7 is kind of in its own little area. So, one sec, let me create this portal real fast. Create spawn to building. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yes, factions. So factions is a solid little setup. It's just not as good as some of the others. And with Towny, Towny is a much more solid platform. The problem that Towny runs into is it's very complex and it doesn't necessarily play well with factions. And I mean, I'm sure there are ways to set it up to where it works. The problem that we were running into is that it was it wasn't functioning with. Oh, that sucks. It wasn't functioning very well with factions. The chat basically was the main issue. So we were trying to get chat to work, and every time we tweaked chat, or every time we set up the plugin, oh, son of a bitch. It's one of the things I hate about texture mods is they fuck up everything and it doesn't look quite right. Oh well, screw it. We'll just go for the nasty looking hack then. We couldn't get people that weren't in Towny, i.e. factions, to be able to hear people who were in Towny. And so it kind of sucked for those who were trying to... Like, if you wanted to play in factions and you wanted to hang out with your buddies over here, you couldn't talk to them. And we couldn't talk to you. And if you came over here, you couldn't... it wouldn't work. Like, we couldn't hear you. And there was no interaction at all. And that's a problem, especially when you're dealing with a multiplayer world. You know, you want your people to be able to communicate. And if they can't communicate, then you've got a major, major problem. All right. Spawn build. There we go. So we tried a bunch of different things, and I'm sure it's some silly little chat plugin, and it's probably an easy fix, but... you know, I went through Essentials trying to fix it. I went through Factions trying to fix it. I went through... I mean, I went through I've spent probably the better part of 2 days trying to get this working. Spawn to castle. There we go. And, you know, just been having a hell of a time. So, you know, I started talking to some of the other admins. And the truth of the matter is... as cool as Factions is, Factions has been causing a lot of problems for us moderators. That's the majority of where our time is spent, so to speak. You know, so-and-so killed me here. So-and-so killed me there. So-and-so did this. So-and-so did that. And, you know, I mean, it's a PvP server. You're going to have some of that. But, you know, it just gets to the point where you're spending the majority of your time dealing with stupid shit. And, okay... TP Kitty. I think she's at the castle. Please be at the castle. Thank you. So we were spending the majority of our time dealing with stupid things. Things that could be easily fixed if we switched plugins. So, you know, I talked to some of the other guys. You know, basically, and I don't mean this to sound mean, because it does kind of sound mean, but the people who really matter, and that isn't worded right, but the people who I take more into consideration, I guess I should say, are the people who pay for the server. So if you're a premium member, I'm going to listen to your input a lot more than I'm going to listen to somebody who doesn't have premium. And some of them are premium members. I think we only had one premium member who really cared about factions. The rest of our premium members were like, fuck it, I don't care. And that's the other thing, is Towny is very similar to Factions with all but a few things. And I'm going to kind of talk about that now. VP... Whoops, too many slashes. Cancel. I'm going to talk about what makes the setups different. Now, one of the things that's different about Towny as opposed to Factions is wars are set by admins. So that means you guys can't necessarily go to war on your own. And you may think, well, that kind of sucks. Well, yeah, I can understand why you might think that. But for us, it's nice because, you know, we can set it up for, like, let's say Saturday morning or Saturday all day. We have a war on the server. And, you know, you guys can fight, you guys can go at each other, and then there's a winner, and the winner actually gets something, as opposed to right now, you just get some, whatever you can find out of the people. With the new setup, basically the way it works is there is a kind of like a jackpot that is set up, and with this jackpot, every time somebody dies, a little bit of money goes into it. Every time a town is destroyed, a little bit of money goes into it. There we go. Boom. And so, you get to make some cash, and whoever knocks out the other person, they win the entire nation fights. Well, the nice thing is, for those who don't want to participate, they don't have to. The guys who don't want to participate in wars, they pay a fee. So, I can already hear X-Vice be like, well, I should be able to attack everybody. Well, yes and no. We want it to be a PvP environment, but at the same time, we want people to have the option to not PvP if they don't want to. But if they don't want to PvP, since it is a PvP server, there needs to be a penalty, and that penalty is going to be a fee. So, if you don't want to PvP, that's fine. You don't have to participate in the weekend wars. If you don't, you're gonna have to. It's gonna charge your nation a little bit of money. And for right now, that fee is going to be nominal. And once we figure out how much people are making and what the balances are and how rich or poor nations are, we will adjust that value. And that value will change accordingly. Okay, MVP, spawn to castle. There we go. So what I'm basically doing now, I tried to adjust the server to where we had Urtasia, because basically what was happening is, for some reason, the permissions would not mix. So people that were on factions were locked into that chat and that mode, and I couldn't bring them over. And so even if you came over here, you wouldn't be able to participate. You could join a town and you still wouldn't be able to talk. You still wouldn't be able to do anything. So I tried completely wiping everything and starting back over and uploading the files once we got done permissions-wise, and that didn't do it. So then I tried setting up, it up to where Towny was primary, start that up, and then add factions later, and it still bugged out. So I'm not sure which one of our plugins isn't functioning correctly, but one of them isn't. Whoa! There we go. That's a little awkward, but we're functioning. And then when I uploaded Urtasia did not maintain correct settings, sadly. We lost our spawn coordinates. So our spawn moved, which means I had to rebuild spawn. And these are all nether portals, as you can see, which kind of sucks because one of the problems is if you stand in it too long, it's going to take you to the nether. And that's not good. So hopefully most people... Okay, good. It doesn't work since we got it turned off. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So these portals are going to be how you're going to get around. So now everybody's asking, well, what the fuck, Pyro? What's going to happen to our stuff? I still have your stuff. I have it saved. I just have no way to give it to you without breaking the game at the moment. So, we're going to move on with Towny because it would take me several days to get this fixed. I'm going to let you guys jump into this world soon. This is going to be our capital city here. It's not built yet. I just got the spawn set up, which you guys watched me do. From here on, I'm going to get the server town set up, and with the server town set up, you'll be able to come there and won't be able to claim the area, won't be able to touch the stuff. We're also going to set up the boundaries and whatnot. You're going to basically have to be within 30 or outside of 30 or 200 blocks from each other. So unlike factions where you can like claim right on top of each other, with Towny, you're going to have at least 200 blocks space. The other really nice thing about Towny, and this is one of the things I absolutely love, and I wanted to demonstrate this to you guys. Where is the creeper egg? That's going to be down here at the bottom. Check this out. Okay, one of the things that sucks about factions is, people do their shit, and it blows because things get, blown up, and it just gets nasty. Well, you just saw me blow the hell out of this whole area here. Now, if we set up here, I'm going to keep talking. You're going to notice this regen over time. And this is one of the main reasons that I like Towny over factions, is Towny cleans up after itself. Factions, if you were on Araxis and you were hanging out around Araxis, things got nasty. Factions would quit, and then their shit would just be hanging in the air. Well, as you can see down here, these holes are filling up. And the way this works is the game takes a snapshot of the world when a town is claimed. So if you're to claim a town and you build, well, for instance, let's say you claimed this town over here and you built this beautiful area, and it kind of sucks right now, and I apologize for that, but we're working on it. If you built this, and then let's say you rage quit and decide to go play Call of Duty or something else and never come back to Minecraft. Well, if we were on factions, this shit would stay here forever. Unless I put, some kind of monetary value on your faction setup, which we didn't. It would be here forever. Your power would eventually tick down and somebody could come claim it, but this is going to be an eyesore. And so your enemies are going to come, they're going to knock holes in it once they can, and then it's just going to be ugly. Well, with Towny, kind of like over here, when you quit and you leave, this place will eventually turn back into this over here. And it will be beautiful again. Well, maybe not beautiful, but it'll be raw dirt. And you won't have people just littering the landscape with useless random shit that isn't used. And that makes it so much easier on us admins because we don't have to run around all over the place and use World Edit to regen things. And it's just a smoother plugin. The economy works a little bit better this way because you're going to have constant upkeep. If you make a town, it's going to cost you money. If you make a nation, it's going to cost you money. The more people you have in your town, the more money it's going to cost you. You can tax your residents. So people are actually encouraged to invite people to their groups because, well, it's going to cost you money otherwise. And so with people under you, you can charge them money, and then you can make money. The town can make money. The town can grow, get bigger, and your investment isn't going to be destroyed, as soon as you have a bad day, or, in a lot of instances when, you piss off somebody on the server and they decide to cannon your base when you're offline. So what does this mean for factions? Well, for now, factions is gone. Everything's resetting. I will try and get Araxis back here. I can definitely bring Araxis back, but Araxis will be Towny. The other problem is all of your warp points are gone. I can try and bring those back when I bring it back in, but because of the way the plugins work, I may not be able to do that. So, what we may do, I may open Araxis back up so people can go over there and grab their stuff, and you would more or less be escorted over there to get your shit, and then you would be escorted back, and once all the big names got all their stuff, then we would open the world back up, and you could go over there with Towny. The other alternative is everybody just gets a fresh start. It's kind of up to you guys. Let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of you guys are going to be really pissed off about this, but like I said, I don't have, this isn't my job. My job is YouTube. So I cannot, and I'm not a coder by nature. So I am using other people's software and trying to make it work. So I have to make the best decisions for the server. And I think in the long run for the server and for the server admins, this will be a better fit. Some of you will agree. Some of you will disagree. Sorry. The other thing is, the people that are helping me pay the bills and myself on this server, we kind of get a bigger vote for those of you who aren't. So if you're a little pissed off that, you didn't get a say and you haven't donated, well, sorry, that's why you don't have much of a say. If, you donated and you feel for whatever reason that I didn't listen to you, then contact me via private messages and we can talk. But I think Ping Pong was the only donator who kind of really had a problem with it. So, like I said, sadly, got to go with what I've got, and this will make it easier for everybody and a lot more controlled and a lot less harsh. For some of you, that'll be a game breaker and you won't want to play on the server anymore. Sorry. Some of you, this will actually be more exciting because, well, you can do what you've been doing and not have to worry about losing everything. But, there's still enough PvP to keep things interesting. We are going to be learning this plugin over the next couple days. I'm hoping to God this is the last server wipe that we ever have to do. I'm going to do a 24-hour reboot once a day at about noon to 1 Central Time to keep the server clean. But other than that, things should be good to go. I'm hoping to have the server back up. I've got to tweak the permissions now because the permissions got wiped as well. So I got to get those set back up. But once I have those set, I should be able to invite everybody back onto the server and unwhitelist things. I will be making a tutorial tomorrow about how to use Towny. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the plugin, you'll just need to watch that video. I'll also put a link in the description here for the Towny commands, and you can kind of start going over and look at them. Key things you're going to want to know. You will not have enough money when you start to make a town. You're going to have to hook up with at least 2 other people to make a town. Towns are going to cost you 250 gold to make, if I believe it's the default. You're going to start with 100 gold. So you and 2 other people are going to have to hook up. Nations are going to cost 1,000 gold. That would be the equivalent of an alliance over in factions. The difference is if you are in a nation, you are vulnerable to PvP. If you are not in a nation, you aren't really vulnerable to PvP because only nations can participate in the server wars. So if you want to get in on the wars, and we will have cannons, there are destructible blocks, all of that stuff is still here. It's just limited to specific times. So if you want to be in on the wars, you need to make a nation. You'll need to make $1,000 as fast as you can. Monsters will be dropping money. I will be leaving that on, and hopefully the spawn is boosted a little bit. I need to find a couple plugins to get spawns going, and we're going to build dungeons, and you guys will have that area to hunt. Until then, all farm animals will drop 1 gold. That's going to be a really, really slow way to farm, and I apologize for that, but you'll be able to make money that way. I will probably also open up the nether and put the nether's drops or mob drops there to be a little bit higher than here, so you can go into the nether and pick fights with like the pigmen and the gas and all that stuff to make a killing. So shouldn't be too hard for a group of dedicated people to make 1,000 gold and build up. The other thing is the shops, i.e. the server shops, the ones where we provide gear, are gone and they will not be back. The reason why protection for full suits is ridiculous, and I don't think that's a good thing for the server. Some of you will like that, some of you won't, but after watching Beast and a few of his buddies walking around in full Prot 4 gear and just being gods, I don't think it's good. So we're not going to have that back. You'll actually have to build your gear, which will allow merchants and such the option to do that. And I think I'm getting a little long-winded here, so probably going to shut this off now. Like I said, it's about 8:30 Central. This video will probably be up by about 10 p.m. and hopefully the server will be up shortly thereafter. Feel free to rage and yell and scream at me in the comment section below. You know, I kind of deserve it because some of you guys are getting fucked over, and I do apologize for that, but I don't know Java to the extent that I can go and rewrite all these plugins and make them play nice, and the plugin authors were not being friendly enough with me when I was asking questions to solve the problems. So it is what it is. I couldn't leave the server down for the whole week because that's just stupid. So we're going to move with what we've got. So love me, hate me. It's the way it is. So the way it's going to work, just to show you guys are going to start in this room. This is the new spawn room. For now, we're going to leave all the commands in, but over the next couple days / weeks, some of the commands are going to get, you may not have access to spawn anymore. Spawn will not be the central location anymore. The central location, which is still being built, is going to be the castle. The castle is where you will do all of your trading, etc., etc. Basically, where it's going to work is there's going to be a server town, and that server town will have shop plots, which will be sections, and you can buy. It'll be right around here. It's either going to be this place here, which will be the main spot, or it's going to be one of these areas over here. You will be able to buy plots, and the plots are basically like chunks. It's a 16 by 16 area, and it will cost you money, and you will be taxed to have that little plot. And in that plot, you'll be able to do whatever you want to do. You know, if you want to sell with it, that's fine. If you want to make it a base, that's fine too. It doesn't matter to me. So you'll be able to use those. That probably will not be up until, I don't know, it's going to be a couple days. We've got to get the castle finished. We've got to get the fishing village finished. And we've got to get a few other things going. So once all of that is set up, we will get the shop set up, and then you'll be able to sell your stuff there. Lockette is staying. Chest shop is staying. Everything else is going to be basically the same as it was on factions. So please feel free to leave your questions in the comment section below. I do read all my comments, and I will try to get back with you shortly. It may be tomorrow before I'm able to answer all your questions because we're still kind of figuring things out. So I guess that pretty much sums it all up. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and I guess I'll catch you in the next clip.